Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you. It is 2:18 a.m. Central Time on your Saturday morning. It is March 12, 2022, the anniversary of the great blizzard of 1993. And here we are in 2022 talking about winter weather again. And yeah, you're looking at some snow blowing across North Alabama, basically along north and northwest of the I-59 corridor that runs up through northeast Alabama, back down the I-20 corridor down to around Tuscaloosa, and then some light snow showers continue back over in Mississippi at this hour as well. So far, the models have handled this thing very well. The snow has done pretty much exactly what the long range and the medium range models were telling us all week. And we're looking at the temperatures this morning as well. We're still in the upper 30s to low 40s across most of East Alabama. We're seeing some reports coming in now from like Anniston's at 38 degrees with drizzle. We don't have a report from Mount Cheahaw at this hour, but we are seeing some bad data there. Is what we're seeing. Stand by just 1 second. Let me see if I can fix that right quick for you. This is a brand new piece of equipment we're trying to use here, and it gives us is giving us the current conditions at different locations around the state of Alabama. So we got some bugs we got to work out there, but hopefully we can get that fixed for you and get that started back right there. Yep. Okay. All right, maybe that'll work. So anyway, though, like 38 degrees already in Ranburne this morning. Alexander City at 39 with moderate rainfall. So the temperatures are falling. They're falling quickly, and we will most likely see things change rapidly now across East Alabama and West Georgia. The wind is just ridiculous. It is howling this morning around 20 to 40 miles per hour, depending on where you are. We're getting reports of some power outages across the area already. I see one report there in the chat room of heavy rain and wind and no power in the Bowden area. So as I have been telling you the last couple of days, there's a chance that we will see scattered power outages all across East Alabama and West Georgia as this system moves through. And it's going to be windy. It's going to be windy all morning. It's going to be windy pretty much all day today. And the temperature is going to be going in the wrong direction. We're going to be headed for an overnight low somewhere in the low 20s, early teens, upper teens. So it's going to be a cold, raw, brisk day across East Alabama and West Georgia. Welcome those of you who have joined us this morning. It is 2:21 a.m. Central, and we have almost 70 folks in the room with us this morning. So maybe you're up waiting to see if you can see some snow this morning. Our temperatures are ranging from the mid to upper 40s to the mid 30s across East Alabama and West Georgia at this hour. As you can see there on the screen, we're at 37 at the National Weather Service office in Birmingham. It's 30 degrees up in Decatur. To contrast that, look over in Georgia, 48 in Atlanta. It's 52 over in Athens at this hour. Look down there in southwest Georgia, 70 degrees in Albany at this hour, 30 degrees in Decatur, Alabama. That's about a 250-mile stretch there, but we're looking at a 40-degree departure in front of the front versus behind the front. And then as we look back over into Mississippi, we're seeing 30s over there, pretty much anywhere between 30 to 35 degrees. Nashville at 27. Nashville got a pretty good snow during the overnight, though it's tapering off up there right now. Nashville did pick up several inches of snow as this system moved through. So we can look up there. Knoxville's getting hit pretty hard right now with some heavy snow. Also up there in Pigeon Forge, Dollywood, around Gatlinburg, some heavy snow flying at this hour. And that stretches back into northwest Georgia, places like Ringgold, getting some heavy snow up there this morning. Chattanooga, all the way down to Lookout Mountain. That stretches down I-75 about halfway to Atlanta. We're starting to see a mixture there. And also beginning to see that mixture kind of migrate to the east out I-20. And I would expect places like Mount Cheahaw, certainly, and then Ranburn. Probably start to see a mixture in the next 30 minutes or so. You folks over here just south of I-20 in Carroll County, Carrollton, even down into Bowden. And I think before this is all said and done, we'll at least see a mixture down into um, Randolph County, definitely from Wedowee north, maybe Roanoke on the very end of it. And then in Clay County, Ashland, Lineville, up there around Delta, and Talladega County, there at the city of Talladega, we'll probably see some mixture, maybe a complete changeover to snow before this is all over with later on this morning. But from about Tuscaloosa all the way back to Birmingham, we do have snow blowing this morning. And let's see if we can take the internet and let me switch over to. I want to go to a Birmingham camera. So just bear with me. Here's a good one. This is Alabama 79 at Industrial Parkway, if you know where that's at in Birmingham. There you go. You can see snow there to the off on the shoulder. You can see snow in the medium. Don't see much on the roadway itself. There goes a vehicle, and it just looks like the roadway is just wet, which is pretty much exactly what I expected. But big snowflakes, you can actually see them on the camera there. Anytime you can see snow or rain on a camera, you got to know that it's pretty heavy. Let's see if we can find. I think this is 11th Avenue North. This is in downtown Birmingham. Oh yeah, look over here in the light. Street lights, you can see it really good there. This is looking downtown. That is, believe that's the BJCC right there off to the right. But you can clearly see that the ground is covered in downtown Birmingham this morning. Looks like probably a dusting to a half inch in the grassy areas. And then if you look over in this parking lot, you can see that the automobiles are covered with snow. Anywhere the cold surfaces, that's what we were saying. That would be grassy areas, rooftops, automobiles, the deck out in your backyard. Look at Old Glory though. She's standing straight out this morning, so very windy in Birmingham as well. We've got some Tuscaloosa cameras I've been looking at, and quite honestly, it's been snowing for a couple of hours in Tuscaloosa. But the Birmingham cameras seem to show the best snow cover. Now you can see pretty good right there that it's still snowing in Tuscaloosa, but it doesn't look like there's much accumulation in Tuscaloosa. I mean, even on the grassy areas, the grass still pretty much looks green. I can see a little dusting on the grass, but not a whole lot. Let's look at a couple of other cameras in Tuscaloosa. This is Greensboro Avenue North. Y'all know I'm not that familiar with Tuscaloosa. I spend more time, but I do know where this is at. This is downtown Tuscaloosa. We were down there for the state championship game last year. Ate supper down there, as a matter of fact. But you can see it. It's definitely snowing in Tuscaloosa. Again, though, it looks like there's a little better accumulation in Birmingham, and here's what I think's going on. We talked about this earlier tonight as well. I told you the ground is so warm, it would take very heavy snowfall, and the snowfall rates would have to be tremendous to get any accumulation. It's snowing heavier in Birmingham. There's a heavier band of snow in Birmingham. So I think that's why we're seeing more accumulation in Birmingham. As soon as that snow slows down in Birmingham, that little bit of accumulation that you see on the Birmingham cams will probably go away. It probably looked like there was more on the ground in Tuscaloosa earlier when it was snowing heavier over there. Tuscaloosa's on the back side of all this now, and the snow will start to come to an end there pretty quick. This is University Boulevard. Oh, that's a pretty good shot. Look at that. Snowing in T-Town. That camera's having a hard time, but you can see it. Those are pretty good flakes right there. University Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. All right, let's go back to Birmingham and see if we can. I-59 North, Pocahontas Road. Yeah, you can clearly see that the grassy areas are covered in white this morning. This is Alabama 79 East. And that's just a horrible shot. But that does give you a good idea of the amount of snow we're looking at in Birmingham right now. You can see where someone's actually pulled off on the shoulder of the road, and you can see their tire tracks in the snow. So there's enough on the ground to leave tracks. But the good news is we're just not seeing any accumulation on the roadway. And with the wind that we have coming in with the snow, it's really going to evaporate that water off the roadway, I think, before it has a chance to really freeze as the temperatures continue to drop. I mean, we would have to get down into the 20s really quick for that water to flash freeze before the wind would evaporate it. So I really don't anticipate trouble on the roadways. This is 79 East at Westchester Drive. I'm not really sure where that's at. It's in Birmingham, I can tell you that. And that's a pretty good look at the snow right there. Okay, let's go back over to the radar. And let's go in a little closer. So you can kind of get an idea of what's going on here. Hello, Birmingham, Alabama. Brian Falls is in here with us this morning. Brian, the pictures we were just showing, does that pretty much coincide with what you're seeing over there? And you can send the video, or pictures, a couple of different ways. The best thing to do is to send them to me on Messenger. And you can just go to Messenger and search for Dr. Don's Weather. And we have our own Messenger channel. That's the best way to send them to us. Yeah, and you can send them to the page also. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Okay, Brian, I see where you sent me a message that says snow in the western Birmingham area. I don't see any video or pictures, but it may take a minute for it to come through. I'll keep checking that. Amanda's asking the question, do I think we'll see anything that would be worth waking the kids up to see? Well, I think you're going to see snowflakes. I don't think you're going to have enough outside to build a snowman, but I think you will see snowflakes in Ashland in the next couple of hours. And, you know, it just depends. We could see a couple of short bursts of heavy snow, or we may end up with just flurries. It's going to be a close call. The snow, if you'll look real close, let me just stop the loop and bear with me just a minute here. The southern extent of the snow is down here. Let me clear that off, and let's go with that one. Let me change colors too while I'm at it. It's kind of hard to see that white. Okay, this is the southern extent of the snow. Well, hold on a second. Clear that out. Let's try it one more time. There's the southern extent of the snow. The orange is a mixture, and I'm just drawing a line where the snow line and mixture line is at this hour. Now, this is not exact. This is the radar's depiction of where the snow freeze line or the rain freeze line is this morning. And all of this is moving in this general direction. So Ashland's sitting about right here. So you can see that this everything down here south of that straight line is what will move across Talladega, Clay, in Randolph County, and maybe skirt the northern fringes of Coosa, Tallapoosa, and Chambers. But there's not a whole lot there. And it cuts off pretty sharply back here. It's moving pretty quick, so it's not going to last a tremendous amount of time. And there could be some flurries out there that the radar is not picking up as well. But it's not going to be a big deal. But if the kids have never seen a snowflake, then it might be worth letting them see it when it comes through. Again, everything is moving in this general direction. It's going to be a real close call down here in Coosa, Tallapoosa, and Chambers. Lee County, yeah, you may see one or two flakes, but it's the further north you go, the better your chances are of seeing snow, and I think you got to get well above I-20 to get any type of accumulation. Okay, Brian, I'll be looking for it. Nancy's reporting some sleet in Ranburne. Absolutely. That doesn't surprise me at all. I know the radar is showing rain there, but again, sometimes the radar does not interpret what it's looking at very well at all. So wouldn't be surprised for all of you across East Alabama and West Georgia to start seeing some sleet, especially mixed in with the rain, and then it'll just slowly switch over. It's probably going to go all sleet, and then from there you'll start to see some snowflakes mixed in with it. Brian said 79's over there on the eastern side of Birmingham. Okay. High winds up at Tin Shop. That's in Randolph County. Just rain in Roanoke. Wind and rain down at 5 points. Sleeting in Pine Hill. That's a little higher elevation up there, so I'm not surprised. Snowing in Wedowee. Send me some pictures. I want to see some pictures of that. Rose is watching us from Woodland. 62 in Macon. I know. Isn't that crazy? The temperature departure from South Georgia versus North Alabama is just, it's mind-boggling. Look at that. 28 degrees up in Huntsville. It is 70 in Brunswick. It's 70 in Albany. At this hour. Those are live temperatures, folks. We do have some heavy thunderstorms. We had a tornado watch. Actually, we still have a piece of it down here in South Georgia that was issued several hours ago. And we do have a line of heavy thunderstorms crossing over the Alabama-Georgia state line down there just to the east of Dothan and just west of Albany. That has prompted a special weather statement down there this morning. And the upper end of that line is what came through East Alabama several hours ago when you had all that thunder and lightning. But it was well below severe limits when it came through. All right, we're going to zoom back in a little bit closer. We can kind of see what's going on here in East Alabama. Birmingham, you've got some more snow to your west. Looks like it maybe has slacked up a bit right this moment, but you do have another one more very narrow but moderate snow band between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. That'll be rotating through Birmingham here in just a few minutes. So Amanda says that she's at the foot of Cheehaw and Ashland, and sleet is coming down. All right, so there's a good report. Sleet and snow and high wind and no power in Bowden. All right, Brian, I just sent you a message with another option there because for some reason it's not coming through on the messenger account that you're sending it to. Let me see if I've got anything on Twitter. Oh, come on, Twitter. Really? You set up all this stuff so that you don't have to jump through 50 hoops to log into something, and every time you go to log in, you have to confirm this, confirm that, do this, call your mama. It's just ridiculous. I just want to log on here. Well, let's try it on a different phone. That's probably what the problem is. Put that radar back in motion so you can kind of get a better idea of the direction all this is moving in. This is just weird. I can't. I'm on my Twitter. I don't see anything. I don't understand what's going on here. Okay. getting somewhere now. Hey, Brian, send them that email address right there. I, when I go to your handle, it says account does not exist. I have no earthly idea what's going on. Just email, just if it's pictures you've got, just email it to that email address right there. That's going to be the easiest thing to do. All right, folks. So we are watching this snow move across central Alabama, about to move into east Alabama. We are getting several reports of some snowfall across East Alabama and West Georgia. Rock Mill's asking the question. Miss Beverly's asking the question. Where's Rock Mill's snow? We're beginning to see a few reports of some snow and sleet across East Alabama. So y'all hang on over there at Rock Mills. It's coming to you. But folks, I'm telling you, this is not going to be a big deal. There's not much to it. It appears to be the back side of it is really pulling in that cold air, and so we're getting a good bit of dry air coming on the back side of this stuff, and it is really evaporating pretty quick. But I still think you're going to see at least a mixture across East Alabama and West Georgia, maybe even just a brief little period there where we change over to all snow. Before this is over with. We've been looking at, and I'll go back and look again at some pretty good snow rates across Birmingham. We're not looking at any major accumulation there from what we can see on the cameras we've been looking at. Very strong wind, South Chambers County, absolutely. And getting reports of terrible winds in Geneva, Alabama. That's way down there in South Alabama. How big was the video file, Brian? That may be what the problem is. Because I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm getting your text messages, but I'm just not getting the video. Let's go back over and see if we can grab a camera or two and see what it looks like. And let's go back to the traffic cams and let's take that. That's US 280. Yeah, it's definitely snowing. You can see it. Maybe that may be more sleet right there on 280. This is at Inverness Parkway. Doesn't look like a tremendous amount of accumulation there. Pawnee Village Drive, this shows some pretty good snow there in the median. This again is in Birmingham. Look over there in the traffic lights. You can see it coming down pretty good. And here comes the truck. But you can see it's white on the shoulders and in the medium. Valley East Industrial. That's a pretty good shot. That looks like we may have a little more than a dusting out there. That may be close to an inch of snow on the ground. But again, in every camera that we look at, the roadway is just wet, and that's the good thing. Um, Brian, where is Valley East Industrial Drive? That's a new one on me also. It'd be interesting to know which side. It's probably going to be over there. The heaviest snow right now in the Birmingham metropolitan area is going to be on the west or northwest side of downtown. This is 280 at Corporate Parkway. Oh, wow, look at that. That looks like sleet to me, and that's what the radar's telling us it is. It's coming down at a pretty good clip right there. This is Carson Road at Alabama 79. I believe Brian said that was on the east side. That's a good look, too. So anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like over in Birmingham. Did Tracy bring me coffee? Tracy is producer Tracy is having sweet dreams about right now. She is gone. But I do have coffee. We're good. Yeah, okay. So that last one was on the eastern part of the industrial was the eastern part of the county, Center Point area. Okay. Oh, guess what I just received, Brian? Got your pictures. All right. We're going to have to send that over to different computer. So bear with me just a second. We'll get these up. weird, Brian. I think Messenger is messing with us. I've never seen it do that before. Anyway, I've got them now. So go back to the internet computer and let's see here. Let's take that lower third off just for a second. All right, here we go. All right, so there's what it looks like in Birmingham. You can see just a dusting on the grassy areas, which is exactly what we told you it was going to do. And I think that this would be the absolute most you would possibly see across East Alabama and West Georgia. If this, I mean, this would probably be a snowstorm in Randolph County, Alabama, with the system that we've got tonight. So you can see those pictures there from Brian. We appreciate you sending that, and I apologize for having so much trouble with it, and I really wish I could see the video, but for some reason it's just not coming through on anything. It may be the file size, but anyway, that's a pretty good look at what it looks like at Brian's house in Birmingham this morning. Yeah, down there in Geneva, let me see. You had that line of thunderstorms come through just a few minutes ago down there south of Enterprise. And now you've got one more little line of showers coming through. But the wind, pretty much the wind that you've got now is non-thunderstorm convective winds. I mean, this is gradient wind. This is going to be there whether you have thunderstorms or not. And that's going to continue pretty much all day long. I mean, I think the winds will start to subside some this afternoon, but it's going to be a very windy day anywhere in Alabama or Georgia. All right, so let's go back up here to East Alabama because just in the last loop or two, we're beginning to see some red in Clay and Randolph. So that means that we are beginning to see some mixed precipitation over here in East Alabama. So what I want to do is take the composite off, go back to the next red. Let that thing load up right there. Yeah, and then let's go. Yeah, there we go. Level 2, I think level 3 looks better. And then we're going to go in a little bit closer. So we should have a mix occurring now from Wedowee all the way up 48, up through New Hope and up there toward Woodland and on up toward Graham. We should be seeing a mixture there. Should be a mixture of probably mostly sleet and snow. May not have much rain involved in that. And then up here in Cleburne County, the same thing from the Randolph County, Cleburne County line all the way up to 431. I'm sorry, to Interstate 20. 46 all the way from Ranburne all the way back up to I-20. Heflin's got some pretty good mixture going on now. That may be completely snow up there around Heflin. And you're going to see it going up 431 also. Back in Clay County, we've got a little mixture there in Ashland and Lineville. The same thing right there along the Randolph County, Clay County line there just west of Malone. And maybe beginning to see a little bit of a mix there in Randolph County down there toward Roanoke as well. And then I would suspect, even though the radar is not showing much from Ashland west until you get back over there just west of Birmingham, I would suspect that we do have flurries in here that the radar is just not picking up. Anything that, any snow growth below 10,000 feet, the radar is not going to see it. And so the radar site setting just south of Birmingham down at the Shelby County Airport. So it is seeing this stuff around Birmingham because of the close proximity to the radar site. I would just be willing to bet that if it could see the lower levels of the atmosphere over here around Sylacauga, it would probably be covered with white as well, if I had to guess. You can see the temperatures are dropping quick now. We're already at 34 degrees up here at Pell City. We're at 37 in Alexander City. We're at 34. And let's see, it dropped 2 degrees in 1 hour at the Birmingham airport. Winds are gusting at 21 miles per hour at the Birmingham airport. I'm sorry, at the Shelby County airport. Up here at the Birmingham airport, we have wind gust of 24 miles per hour. Over at Pell City, we have gust up to 24, 23, 24 miles per hour. Let's go back over in West Alabama. Tuscaloosa, gusting to 32. Wow. Coleman is gusting to 39 miles per hour. 36 miles per hour at Alexander City. That'll bring down trees, folks. And let's see, where we're at Auburn. Auburn has had a 32 mile per hour wind gust. LaGrange has had a wind gust of 43 miles per hour. That's the highest I've seen so far. Wow. That's crazy. Boaz has probably got a mixture, maybe all snow now. Very windy up there. Look at you, Brian. That's the way to do it right there. Now let's go back to the internet computer. And this is the infamous video that we've been trying to get our hands on for the last 30 minutes. There you go. That's what it looks like in Birmingham. Appreciate you going through all that trouble to get it to us, Brian. We do appreciate that. We appreciate you listening to us and watching us over in Birmingham. I've got family in Birmingham. Spent a good bit of my time over there over the years as well. Power out in Jacksonville. Good morning, Neil Fettner. Anna is watching us at Pine Mountain. Let's go take a look. Take the Alabama power outage map and pause that lower third. There you go. Yeah, so this is Alabama Power. And statewide, we have about 15,000 customers without power. We're seeing almost, not quite, but almost 10% power outage in Clay County, down in Tallapoosa. The highest is way up there in northeast Alabama. I believe that's DeKalb County. They're sitting up there at about 30% without power. And then 10% down there in Washington County in southwest Alabama. That was probably from that line of thunderstorms. But yeah, we do have almost 15,000 customers in the state of Alabama without power from Alabama Power. Let's see what Georgia Power is showing. We actually have some power outages up here in White County, which is where I'm at. Have 11,000 customers without power across the state of Georgia at this hour. Okay. I notice your badge there, Brian. Are you in law enforcement or are you a communications officer? Either way, kudos to you, my friend. I'm one of those two. I actually work in emergency management now, but spent many years in East Alabama in fire services and law enforcement. Also did 6 very long years in a 911 center up here in northeast Georgia. I work for the state of Georgia now in emergency management. I am better than the Weather Channel. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it. I really do. Well, I'm going to agree with you as far as the forecast is concerned. I don't know how they manage to be so wrong sometimes on the forecast, but they're light years ahead of us as far as production and quality is concerned. But quantity, we got them. I think we can handle that. Well, here's the thing, folks. They do weather for the entire country, and so it's really hard to pinpoint and pay very close attention to a handful of counties, which is what we do. After spending 22 years in broadcast radio in East Alabama, I got to know that area very well, and with modern technology the way it is now, and the simple fact that Birmingham and Atlanta both leave East Alabama and West Georgia out of wall-to-wall television coverage for severe weather, it's just this is a niche that I've been able to fill, and I have had a blast doing it so far. Well, you can see that the backside of that snow band is eroding very, very quickly. And that's not good news for snow lovers across East Alabama. And we've been telling you that this was not going to amount to much, and that there was, as there always is, a bust factor. And I'm afraid we're in the process of busting the snow or any significant snow for East Alabama or West Georgia, but you're still going to see a snowflake or two. Cool beans. That's very interesting, Brian. I was an EMA director in Alabama for 6 years back in the late 90s. I was on the EMA council. to work with all those folks over in Chilton County. If you happen to be traveling into South Georgia this morning, just if you're headed in that direction, we do still have a tornado watch. There's not many counties left in the watch, but there is still a tornado watch over here. Let me go back to the composite, and I'll show you. We've actually got some severe weather down here, and a tornado warning. This is for a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado coming through Florida near Live Oak, and that will eventually end up over here in southeast Georgia, north of Jacksonville, probably somewhere around St. Mary's. So if you're north of Jacksonville, if you're between Brunswick and Jacksonville over here on the southeast Georgia coast, you're going to want to pay attention to this thunderstorm coming from the southwest, moving northeast this morning. And still some pretty heavy thunderstorms around Albany. That'll continue moving off to the east as well. Heavy storms up here near Macon. Then we switch over to wintertime north of I-20. Pretty good snow coming through Rome. Pretty good snow all across northwest Georgia this morning. And we get up into Tennessee. Snow is pretty much tapered off in Nashville, though there's still some more flurries coming down from the northwest, so it'll be several more hours before it completely ends up there. Cookeville getting some pretty good snow. The blue bands, that's the heaviest snow of it all. And look at those temperatures, would you? Knoxville at 32 with heavy snow. Asheville now getting in on the action. Heavy snow over there. Pretty good snow falling up there in the Great Smokies. And it goes all the way up into Kentucky. All right, so now we have reports of sleet in Wedowee. Told you just a few minutes ago that we thought we had some sleet falling in Wedowee, according to the radar. Now we have ground truth reports. So we do have sleet in Wedowee. Wait a minute, Brian. You're going to school at Mississippi State to get your in meteorology. Cool. Well, congratulations, my friend. That's something I wish 1,000 times I had done. And if I had known then what I know now, that's what I would have done. Congratulations to you. Yeah, you're correct. The last bands are working through Jefferson County now, as a matter of fact, and they're fading away. We've just got a lot of dry air that's wrapping on the backside of this thing, and it's evaporating the moisture big time. And that's what's going to rob East Alabama of seeing, we didn't think you were going to see much more than a dusting anyway. And I've been telling you for 2-3 days that any significant accumulation would be along and north of I-20, and that's exactly what we've got. But I got a little bit excited for you there for a minute when all this started a couple of hours ago. It looked like some pretty heavy bands were setting up between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, and they did. But that cold air, that dry air is wrapping back in on the back end of this stuff, and it's just evaporating the moisture, and I just don't think there's going to be much left by the time those bands, or what's left of those bands, get into East Alabama. Thank you, Brian. We've enjoyed talking to you tonight. Keep in touch. Would certainly love to hear from you, especially Well, anytime we have significant weather, but especially during severe weather, which we're about to fall off into severe weather season, because what you guys get over there in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa and down into Chilton County is what we typically end up with over here in East Alabama and West Georgia. So it's pretty cool to have folks over there that can give us ground truth reports of what you're seeing, because that's what we ultimately end up with over here on the eastern side of the state. So go get yourself some rest. We appreciate you. We appreciate all that you have done for us tonight. We appreciate the picks, and stay in touch with us, especially the next time we have some bad weather. That's cool stuff, Brian. I taught James Spann everything he knows. James and I are friends. I spent 22 years in Randolph County, Alabama. And like I said, I was involved in emergency management, and I had James and JB Elliott. You'll remember JB. I had those two characters come over multiple times and speak at community events. And I got to know James pretty good, especially when I worked with emergency management. And I always tell everybody I taught James everything he knows. They don't get much better than him. He's a good dude. Yes, sir, buddy. I'll never forget. They came and spoke at my church. I think was the last time I had them over. Now, James has been back several times since, but this was back in. This had to have been the late '80s or early 2000s. JB came with him, and when you go speak at a church gathering, they gonna be some food involved in it. And JB Elliott, my goodness, he ate and he ate. James couldn't stop talking long enough to eat, but JB, he hammered down. It was some good food. Good times. It's interesting. Good stuff. Good folks over there. And, people in East Alabama, especially East Alabama, are pretty frustrated in that they can't watch 3340 because of the whole FCC, thing. And East Alabama's in the Atlanta television market, and all of that whole thing. And I every chance I get, I try to make sure folks understand it has nothing to do with what 3340 or what James would want to do. James would do wall-to-wall coverage from Moose Jaw, Alaska, if he thought he could save a life. Just I try my best to make folk understand that television is a business just like any other business, and unfortunately, sometimes business does get in the way of saving lives, and that's an unfortunate thing. And that's another big part of the reason why I'm here and do what I do, is to fill that gap, because, Birmingham or Atlanta, they just simply can't do wall-to-wall coverage for rural counties in East Alabama and West Georgia, when they have millions of people in their own backyards to cater to, and their advertisers are not gonna pay for, this doesn't sound right, but it's the truth. They're not going to pay for a handful of people when they have millions of people. And that's just the hard facts of the situation, and that's why, um, 2 o'clock in the morning, I suspect he would stay. James would stay with it if there is a known tornado on the ground coming out of Talladega into Clay or eventually into Randolph. But during prime time or during normal broadcast hours, he just can't, and it has nothing to do with him personally. It's just the whole thing. It's the setup. So again, that's kind of why we do what we do here, is to fill that gap for those handful of counties in East Alabama and West Georgia that kind of get left behind when it comes to wall-to-wall coverage during severe weather events. And there have been multiple attempts over the years to get that changed. And the problem is, even though Atlanta is not going to do wall-to-wall coverage for Randolph County, they're not going to allow Birmingham to take them because they would be losing viewers. And that's how television stations get their ad agency money. The more viewers they have, the more they get, and the more money they make. So they're not about to give it up. That's not going to happen. The truth of the matter is, it's a crying shame in today's world that we can't watch what we want to watch, especially when we pay for it. And that's an FCC thing. So that's not going to change until the FCC changes the rules. And I don't know that will happen in our lifetime because they've been trying to do it for years. I was involved in multiple attempts when I lived in Randolph County to get that changed. It's just not going to happen. That's correct. Coleman is in the exact same situation. Absolutely, they are. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate your kind words. I still got family in Randolph too, so I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna pay attention. I lived there for 22 years also, so I do care about what happens down there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens up here in northeast Georgia. Um, I live right there in the extreme southwest corner of White County, right along the White County, Lumpkin County, Hall County line. Dahlonega sets about right there, and I'm right over here at the corner of White County. And the forecast leading into this event was for the snow to stay across the northern sections of the county I live in, which is where the Appalachian chain starts over here in Lumpkin County and runs right across northern White and continues on up into towns in Rabun County. It's where the Appalachian Trail runs up through there. And the forecast has been for the snow to stay across the northern sections of White County, and I'm down here in southwest White. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of this frozen precipitation can make it into my area here in the next hour or so. I really believe that the best snow we've seen so far during this entire event is going to end up being up here in northwest Georgia. Dalton, Rome, even up into Blue Ridge, back into Alabama around Lookout Mountain. It's really been coming down good up there around Chattanooga. LJ's got a mix going on now as well. Well, good morning, Mary. You up mighty early. How's everything in Frog Eye, Alabama this morning? Again, folks, the radar is showing that the back edge of the snow has already cleared Clay County and is moving into Randolph. But understand, this snow is a lot of this stuff may be below, 10, 15,000 feet, and the radar may be having a hard time picking it up. I would suspect that the radar is not quite as void as it's showing here. I would expect that there probably is still at least some flurries going on in these areas here where it's telling us that the moisture has completely evaporated. It is evaporating, but I think there probably is still a little bit of flurry activity going on in here. It would be interesting to know if there's anybody in Clay County on right now. Let me know what you got, if you've got anything at all falling from the sky in Clay County. And I don't mean to beat a dead horse to death here, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. But again, folks, the snow, and we've told you this the entire time, what little bit you may or may not see across East Alabama is not the headline here. That's not the story. The story is the temperature, and even bigger than that, the wind. We're seeing wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour in multiple locations across Alabama. And that is going to cause, and already has caused, some power outages. And that will continue, and that's not, the wind is not forecast to relax until this afternoon. So it's going to be windy now for the entire day, and the temperature is going to steadily fall throughout the day, and we're going to end up somewhere in the low 20s or upper teens by the time the sun sets this evening. I think the wind will relax this afternoon, or certainly by sundown. But we're talking some just ridiculous wind chill factors this afternoon, well, this morning too, but certainly by this afternoon, and a dangerous hard freeze tonight. It's going to wipe out everything you planted last week when it was beautiful and 70 outside, and I warned you not to do that. I know it was tempting. I was tempted. But my granddaddy told me years ago, he said, don't plant until after Mother's Day. I'm thinking, really? Good grief, that's a long time to wait to plant. He said, I'm telling you, don't. And he was a farmer. He said, don't plant until after Mother's Day. So I know some folks just couldn't stand it last week, and they put some tomato plants out. And you may have to replant unless you started them from seed in a pot. If you did that, then you can bring them inside and you'll be okay. But tonight's freeze is going to, I'm afraid it's going to really damage the peach and plum crop. I know that my plum trees are in full-blown bloom up here. I mean, I've got a pear tree that I planted about 5 years ago, and I actually have blooms in the top of it this year. First time ever that this pear tree has bloomed, and now look what's about to happen. It's going to wipe it out. All right, folks, I'm going to leave the feed up. I'm going to take a little quick break. Got to refill the coffee pot. Well, I got to unload some coffee and reload some coffee, so y'all hang in there, and I'll be right back with you in just a few minutes as our coverage will continue on Dr. Don's Weather. All right, folks, I'm back in here with you. I got a fresh cup of coffee, and we're ready to ride this a little bit longer this morning because I know a lot of folks are going to start waking up across the area and going to want to know what the deal is and what's going on. So it is 3:40 a.m. Central, 4:40 a.m. Eastern. It is Saturday morning, March 12th, the anniversary of the Great Blizzard of 1993. For those of you that are old enough to remember that horrible stretch of several days there, we received over 18 inches of snow across East Alabama. Some areas saw more than that. It was a nasty time, and comparing the two, obviously, we're looking at nothing like that as far as the snow is concerned, but the wind and the cold temperatures is another story, and that is going to be the big story once this one is all said and done. I told you it would, and that's exactly what we're seeing this morning. Just tremendous wind out there. We're looking at wind gusts across the region. Let me just look at some of these reports coming in from the Weather Service. We'll start over here north of Atlanta. We're looking at there's a wind gust there of 39 miles per hour. There's one also north of Atlanta at 30 miles per hour. Get up there around Rome. We're looking at wind gusting currently at about 21 miles per hour. Where are we at here? Carrollton, we're looking about 24 miles per hour, going back over toward Pell City. Winds gusting at around 23 miles per hour. Alexander City, saw a gust there earlier at 40 miles per hour. Currently, the highest gust is 29 miles per hour in Alexander City. And Columbus, the high gust of 53. Wow. Columbus Airport reporting a wind gust in the last hour of 53 miles per hour. That is just amazing. LaGrange, let's see, 43. We've had a wind gust of 43 miles per hour down at LaGrange. Shelby County Airport in Birmingham, it looks like 21 in the last hour. The Birmingham Airport, 33. And then just checking a few spots out to our west. Looks like the wind may be not quite as bad behind this main line that's pushing through now. It looks like the gusts are somewhere around 20 miles per hour. There's Tuscaloosa's at 20. Meridian, Mississippi, well, there's the 31 there at Meridian in the last hour. Montgomery, gusting to about 28 miles per hour. So it's very windy this morning, and the temperature is dropping like a rock. We're already at 37 degrees in Alexander City, 39 degrees in LaGrange, 34 up there at Anniston, and 34 also up there at Carrollton. And the moisture it's leaving quickly, pretty much already out of Randolph County, even though you may still be seeing some flurries or very light precipitation across Randolph and Clay, Chambers and Tallapoosa. But for the most part, the better moisture for sure is moving on off into Georgia very quickly. And then we're beginning to see just some scattered light snow showers back off to the west. I'll zoom out where you can see the big picture. You can see there that there are some flurries, maybe a small, very small, thin line of snow showers coming out of Mississippi and the northwest Alabama, but nothing of any great significance at all. And it looks like that the weather models had a pretty good handle on this. As far as the snowfall is concerned, it looks like any accumulation at all is definitely going to be along and north of I-20. Birmingham saw a little bit, just a dusting in most locations. And you're going to have to go on up into northwest Georgia in northeast Alabama to really see any measurable accumulation with this. And I think the moisture part of this storm is winding down quickly across East Alabama and West Georgia. And the big story is going to continue to be the wind and the temperature. I am seeing reports of power outages, scattered power outages all across East Alabama and West Georgia. We were afraid that was going to happen as well. There's one report from Mr. Cam Warren. There's an old friend from years ago. He's reporting flurries about a half-mile north of Folsom School in Randolph County. And you're going to see periods of flurries now for the next couple of hours. But I don't think you're going to see much more than that. Here's a post from Catherine Hamlin. She says that she's over in Barnesville, Georgia, over there at the Beaches and Beaches Flea Market. The wind was gusting at around 18 miles per hour at 4 a.m. Eastern this morning. And lots of tents blew off and blew away. Wow. Yeah, that would be pretty rough to be at an arts and crafts or a flea market type venue this morning, especially if you're set up in a tent, because this wind is just going to be brutal. So we're going to ride this with you for a little while longer this morning, because I know, like I said just a few moments ago, more and more folks are going to be getting up and they're going to want to know what the weather's going to be today and what we have seen so far during the night. Glad I listened to you last week and waited on my tomato plants. Yeah, it's, and I'm guilty. I've done it before too. I mean, I know when that first taste of spring moves in, it's just tempting to do it. And you'll notice that the folks who sell plants, they're smart. They get them in there early, hoping you'll come do that, and then you'll have to turn right around and do it again. Some folks have to do it more than twice. It's very tempting to do that, but it's March is just too soon, and to be on the safe side, you better wait at least until May, and maybe a week or two into May before it's really, really safe to set those plants up outside. So the back end of the best moisture is there. And it is moving very quickly off to the east-northeast this morning. So everything to the left of that red line that I've drawn there on the screen is just going to be occasional snow flurries for the next couple of hours. And that would include pretty much the entire state of Alabama. The only place in Alabama right now that still has any significant snow is up here in extreme northeast Alabama, up around Fort Payne, Mentone, Valley Head, Lookout Mountain. We still have some pretty good snow going on over there. We do have one area, it's very, very thin line of snow showers coming out of Mississippi into northwest Alabama. And that is going to move in this general direction. So when that moves through your area, you could have, maybe 5 minutes of increased snowfall rates, but that's not going to last very long. It's certainly not enough to give you any accumulation. So the best moisture is definitely moving on over into Georgia, and we actually have a couple of Significant weather advisories out there now for a line of thunderstorms moving through south central Georgia. That's a special weather statement for places such as Dublin, Sandersville, Wrightsville, East Dublin, as that line moves off to the east. Wind gust of 50 miles per hour for that storm. And then down here in South Georgia, we have another special weather statement in effect until for about another hour or about another 45 minutes. And that's going to affect places such as Newton, Tifton, Albany. It's actually kind of just now moved through Albany. Next up would be Moultrie, Thomasville, Putney, Bainbridge, Sylvester, Cairo, Norman Park, and that's going to be for wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour as well. But all that's moving to the east. That's not going to affect East Alabama or West Georgia. Some stronger storms down here in extreme north and northeast Florida may work up into southeast Georgia. So places like St. Mary's up to around Brunswick need to be watching these storms back to the southwest because they do have a history of going severe. We've actually even had a couple of tornado warnings down here this morning also. Look at the temperature spread with you. It's 70 degrees in Jacksonville, Florida. It is 27 degrees in Huntsville, Alabama. It's just amazing. And I can actually hear the wind outside my house, and it is just howling out there. And that's the story this morning all across East Alabama and West Georgia. Very high wind, temperatures falling rather quickly. And if we look back up to the northwest, this is going to give you an idea of what we're looking at by tonight. Look back up there around Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's currently 23 degrees. Oklahoma City's at 23. Down around Wichita Falls, 18, 16 degrees. In portions of southeast Oklahoma this morning. That's the air that's headed our way. It's 18 degrees currently at Springfield, Missouri. Wichita Falls at 21. But you see, low 20s and upper teens all across Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and that entire area. That's the cold air that is moving in our general direction this morning. It's all coming to the south. So that's what we're looking for this afternoon, late this afternoon and into tonight. The good news is I think that the winds will die down as we head toward the nighttime hours. Late this afternoon into early this evening, I think the wind does lay down a good bit. So that will help. But it's just going to be a cold, raw, blistery day all across East Alabama and West Georgia. It'll be a cold day today. Hard freeze tonight. Um, Hard freeze warning in effect. We have a wind advisory also in effect. And then Sunday, we'll get up into the upper 40s, low 50s with ample sunshine. Sunday night, it's going to be cold again, but not nearly as cold as what we will see tonight. And then Monday, we'll get even warmer as we kind of get back into a spring pattern. And then rain returns on Monday night into Tuesday. So the roller coaster ride will continue. Showing light snow now in Heflin and Ranburne. Alexander City at 35 and overcast skies. Dadeville's at 36. Tallahassee at 39, overcast clouds. Light snow in Woodland, Alabama, 33. Wedowee, light snow in 34. Wadley showing some light snow in 35. I bet it is. One post there says the Eagles Nest at Berry College is rocking in the wind with snow falling this morning. Are we talking McKenzie, Alabama, down there in southwest Alabama? Report is that the last shower came through about an hour ago, and the wind's still blowing pretty hard down there. Good morning, Roanoke, Alabama. Good to have you in here this morning. Let's go back to the internet feed and let's run up to Huntsville, Alabama to show you what it looks like up there this morning. There's you some snow. This is I-65 at exit 3, Greenbrier. And yeah, you can definitely see some snow up there. Looks like the roads are in pretty good shape. But definitely some snow on the ground up there in Huntsville this morning. Looks like the roadways are just wet. When that car came through there, you could see a lot of moisture coming up from behind the automobile. So don't see any travel issues up there from looking at some of the cameras. And folks, I'm telling you, and of course, I know you know this because you got it before I did, but the wind is blowing so hard up here right now. I could go away at any moment. Typically, we lose power up here if you look at the power pole the wrong way. So I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't already lost power. So if I just abruptly end the broadcast, that's what the problem's going to be. Now, I do have emergency power, but I'll have to go get all of that started, so it would take a few minutes for me to come back. So if this feed just immediately goes down, that's what the problem is. Looks like some pretty good snowfall up there in Huntsville, maybe several inches of snow. This is I-65. Looks like they're traveling just fine up there on the interstates. And there's Tiger Corner in Auburn, Alabama. And you can see the camera shaking there a little bit, so that's that's going to be from the wind. Yeah, you can see the flag off in the distance. It's blowing pretty good in the wind. Good grief, you may be able to hear the wind through my microphone. Yeah, we've had 27 mile per hour wind gust here on the north side of Waka Mountain in southwest White County, Georgia. Let's go back and check the Alabama power outages. And we're still showing a few outages in Clay. There could be some power outages in any of the counties there across East Alabama, but significant power outages we're still showing some in Clay and Talladega County. I'm sorry, Tallapoosa. And then, of course, up there northeast Alabama, I believe that's DeKalb County. We see some significant outages up there, too. Georgia, got a few outages up here in the county I live in. And then over in northwest Georgia, a few outages, and also down there in West Georgia. Total of 38,000 outages in the state of Georgia right now. And then back in Alabama, total of 16,337 outages. All right, folks, it is 4:05 Central, 5:05 Eastern. And so I am going to have to take the feed down so that I can get ready to get my primetime forecast package put together for our radio stations across central Alabama and for those of you who follow Dr. Don's weather on social media. So we're going to wrap up this live broadcast. And again, I'll tell you that the big story here is the wind and the cold temperatures. The temperature is going to be going south all day long. We're going to end up in the low 20s to upper teens for your overnight tonight. And then on Sunday, the first part of the day is going to be brutally cold. We'll warm up in the afternoon up into the low 50s. And then tomorrow night, Sunday night, we'll get down into the 30s. And then finally, we'll start to warm up on Monday, even though rain will return on Monday night into Tuesday. Maybe, just maybe, this is our last hoorah with winter for the season. We will see. So I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your morning and Saturday, and I'll see you back in here in a couple of hours or so with your primetime forecast. We're going to announce our brand new winner with the Alpha drawing this morning. So if you have gone to the Alpha site with Jamie Dukas and you have requested that free, no obligation insurance quote, then be sure and join me for my primetime forecast this morning to see if you are the winner. You're going to pick up some tickets to go to the Cleveland County Rodeo. You're also going to win a free copy of the Dr. Don weather app, and you're going to get a car freshie from K&L Charms. So be sure you check us out and see if you're the winner coming up a little bit later on this morning. And we'll have your forecast out hopefully within hour and a half or 2 hours or so. So I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll see you in a couple of hours with your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's weather. Thanks for joining us.